Welcome to another episode of It's Time to Rewind. This season is 8 times 12, where I'm breaking down 8 different time loops across various mediums that have the number 12 in the title. And this is the second episode of the 12 minutes section, where I am breaking down the video game 12 minutes, one loop at a time, with my co-host Jason Soto. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful. You want some dessert?
Yeah, so we are talking about the first loop in 12 minutes. So, I know last time we talked a little bit that, you don't have a whole lot of experience in point and click games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's just kind of go right into the start of this.
Okay.
I mean, I guess before that, I mean, might as well break it down all the way down. In the like little title sequence, I guess, we
Hmm.
have the clock that's like it has no hour hand. It just has the
Yeah.
minute hand and the second hand, and it's uh like going backwards by 12 minutes.
Hmm. Yep. And there the credits was playing as that was happening, and I was just like, okay, I get what you're doing there. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, and then we start in the hallway and it kind of gives you just a little bit of um tutorial. I guess the hallway is like
I
the little
guess.
tutorial section.
I guess. And of course, we cannot have a horror game without the shining carpet making an appearance.
Yes, I did notice that immediately.
Every horror game I have played in some aspect has had the shining carpet, and that thing must be in the public domain because holy hell.
I mean,
My
it
God.
is just a pattern. It's not like it's, something copyright, right?
Sure, I guess, but I'm sure the person that came up with this pissed.
So, like, let me ask you, like, well, how long did it take you to get into the locked door? Like, how much did you look around in this hallway?
Oh, I clicked on everything. I clicked on the paintings. I felt like one of them might be important, so I kept the memory of it. The one that was kind of it looked like books or DVDs, but one of them was red. I
Yeah.
felt like that was important, so I kind of kept that in my mind. The other painting was fine. I didn't click on the other locked doors. I just because I figured that wasn't my apartment,
Hmm.
and then I clicked on my apartment, and that's when he was like, "Oh, I don't have my keys," and I'm like, "Come on, man." And then of course there's like a plant like right next to it. And so I just clicked on the plant. And then yeah, like I said, it's a tutorial because it teaches you like click on this. This gets added to your inventory. Now you click
Hmm.
on this and this shows you a second thing. Now you got to click on that, bring it back into the screen, and then you can add it, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I did look at the paintings, it just, looking around, and then I went up to the end of the hallway and I just moused over the three locked doors and I saw they were locked, so I didn't even try them. And I
Mm.
went straight to the plant and went straight to the rock.
Okay. No, yeah, I tried the door first. I'm like, let me see what happens with the door. And then that's when he was like, "Oh, I left my keys at home or work or whatever he said." And then like I love the subtle hint of, "Gosh, I hope there's a second key somewhere."
Yeah, he's like, I hope I remembered to leave the spare key out.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then it did take me a moment to figure out how the inventory system worked, which it is pretty simple. It just has like you just move the cursor or mouse up to the top, and that kind of automatically, it's almost like Windows 11 where
Yeah.
everything's kind of like automatic, and
Hmm.
you just you see the inventory in picture form, and then you just drag your whatever item item you want to use to combine it. So, which I think is funny that I had the key already, and then it wasn't until I was trying to figure out how this system like used the inventory. That's
Hmm.
whenever I clicked on the door and got the I forgot my key, even though at that point he already had the spare key
Oh,
in
okay.
his,
Okay.
but he still said, "Oh, I don't have my key."
Yeah. Okay, so this game is like I'm gonna tell you the stuff regardless of what you do, it sounds like. Because I had something
Yeah,
similar later.
yeah, and then we go into the apartment. We meet his wife, and we mentioned it in the first episode, but the main character that you're controlling is voiced by James McAvoy,
Hmm.
and the his wife is voiced by Daisy Ridley, and then the
Hmm.
cop, which is the only other character in this game, I'm pretty sure, is voiced by Willem Dafoe.
Yes. And I'm gonna put cop in quote. I don't know that. I'm just putting cop in quote. That's just my feeling, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, and so she comes in, and it was your character standoffish to her as well? Like,
Um, I didn't notice because I was trying to figure out what I was supposed to be doing because he just stopped walking and then like the dialogue happened and then she went to go sit down on the couch and then he's just standing there and the game's not telling me anything. And so I was like, okay, so I didn't really pay attention because I was just trying to figure out what to do. And this was the point where I became a klepto and I stole everything in the apartment. I didn't know what else I was supposed to be doing.
so I mean, I actually didn't explore a ton, but I did notice like whenever she came in and she like walks in, and if you're still just kind of standing there a little bit, I think I
Mm.
tried to click on her as she was moving, but I don't remember if I was successful. And then like she goes in for a kiss, and then he kind of pushes her away. At least he did in my
See,
playthrough.
I don't think mine did. I think she was getting like she came in, said something about, "Hey, I made a dessert." Um, and then she said, "If you want it, let me know." And then she sat down, and then that's when I stole everything off the table. Um, and then it wasn't until I realized you can hover over like the wife, and then the dialogue options pop up.
Hmm.
And then I was like, "Oh, okay, this is how you interact with people." I thought like it was just like I thought it was just gonna happen, and then the game's gonna prompt you like, "Okay,
Kind of like an
where's this?"
interactive cutscene.
Yeah, like where's the spoon? You got to find the spoon now. Like, yeah, that's what I was expecting, but I didn't realize you had to like literally click on like every single thing for the information to come up.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I think the first thing that I did do was I grabbed the mug off the table, and I looked in the fridge, but I didn't take anything off the fridge. Well, I did
Mm.
take the Polaroid that
Oh,
was on the
I didn't.
fridge.
I didn't do that. I didn't get to the fridge. I was clicking on the table. I stole the spoons. I stole the candles. Um, I messed with the radio. I wanted to see if the radio was gonna play different songs because some games like it'll cycle through like three or four songs, and it just kept playing the same one. It kept either turning it off or it went to the same song, and I was like, okay, that's boring. And then that's when I hovered over to wife and I saw all the options, and I just kept going from there. I didn't even think to open the fridge, honestly.
Yeah, and the dialogue options are just, of what's the occasion or I'm ready for dessert. And
Hmm.
then if you asked what's the occasion, she's like, I'll tell you over dessert.
Dessert, yeah, exactly. So like, I might as well just pick the dessert option. Yes.
So it is kind of like one of those slightly annoying things where it's like really, especially here in the beginning, it's really forcing you down a very
Hmm.
specific path here, which, I mean, I think it makes sense here in the first iteration of the loop,
Hmm.
but I hope it doesn't continue that way, which I knew
Yeah.
though that there's several different endings. That's
Okay.
kind of the only like reading that I did do.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I hope there's like more options of what to do. Now something funny happened to me. I want to see what happened to you. Because I stole the spoons, she set the dessert, and then she said to me, "Well, you have the spoon, so you finish setting the table." And then she went and sat back down. And the thing wouldn't continue until I put the spoons back onto the table, and then she got up and sat at the table. Oh, and I think I had to wait, because she didn't do anything for a minute. She stood up and then stood by the table. And then when I pulled the chair out, I'm thinking, okay, so I got to pull the chair out for her. I did that, and that's when she then went to the other chair and sat down. And then I sat in the chair that I pulled, and I'm like, that's strange.
Did you sit on the right side or the left side of the screen?
The left side.
Hmm. That's interesting because I sat down on the right side.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I didn't take the spoons or the candle, but since I did take the mug, she did ask me to finish setting the table. And so I set the mug down and then I talked to her again and she's like, but your mug's empty.
Okay.
So I had to fill the mug in the sink with water.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right.
And then the only other thing I did was I did go in the closet just to look, and it's just like a closet and there's clothes, but I didn't see anything interesting. I didn't try to go in the other rooms at all.
Yeah, it did this thing where after you ate the dessert, she got up and went into another room, and then like nothing was happening. And then I'm like, so am I supposed to
But it's
follow
like,
her?
I mean, there was like lightning.
Okay, I mean, no, yeah, that happened, but like I'm just standing there and I'm like, am I supposed to follow her to the other room? Like I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing, so I went into the she went into the leftmost room. I don't know if that was the bedroom or the closet or what that was. But she went in there for a second, and then just
Mhm.
as I opened the door and I went in, she came out.
Yeah, and she says something about, I aren't you gonna fix this at some point?
Yeah, like
Like
oh,
somebody's gonna
like
get hurt.
yeah. That's what prompted me to go over there actually, because I thought the game was trying to tell me like, hey, you got to come in here, idiot, see what this is. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then pretty soon after that, that's whenever, you get the knock on the door and or she's just about to say what the dessert's about,
Right.
like, what's when is the dessert not a dessert? And then and like before that, I do like the sound design of this because you do hear
Yeah.
like the elevator ding and the doors open
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
like the footsteps coming up to the door. And then, we get the knocking on the door and Willem Dafoe saying, it's the police, open up.
Yep. Yeah, I had
And
a weird, awkward moment at that because I think I was clicking on her to try to get something, and so it was her dialogue, and then underneath that it was like it said cop colon this is the police, but it was like they kind of like meshed together, and I
mm.
think that was just for me like clicking everything. Um, and then finally she went to the door, and then my guy sat down as she went to open the door. And then the part I know you get into it, but the part where he's like I'm arrest you're under arrest, and then he turns her around. I'm just sitting there. Because
Yeah.
now I'm like, am I supposed to get like I don't know I was so weird playing a game where they don't tell you what to do. Like,
Mm.
usually like some games kind of nudge you, like, get up or go to the wife or something. Like this didn't do any of that. So I'm just like, what do I do now? As he's putting the zip ties on her. And then finally I was like, I guess I have to get up and stop him. So I clicked on the cop, and that's when he kind of pushed me. And then I got zip tied.
Yeah. I think my experience was pretty similar. He comes in zip ties and he's like, "What's going on?" And he doesn't say anything at first. And then like I was just sitting there from the dessert, eating the dessert.
Hmm.
And then yeah, I did the same thing. I clicked on the cop and that's whenever he gets up and then he gets zip tied. And then, the cop saying, this is I'm arresting you for the murder of your father 8 years ago. And she's
I
like,
don't, did I get that? I don't remember him saying that. And I'm serious. I think he just said something like stay down or something, and then it reset. I don't think
"Hmm."
he said something about a murder.
Yeah, he was like in mine, he was talking about, this is about the murder of your father 8 years ago. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, don't play dumb. You know,
Oh,
I
wow. No, I
um
didn't get any of that.
yeah, you know what this is about. And that's whenever I, clicked and my character was laying face down with the zip ties and I clicked on the zip tie and so he got up. You know, he didn't get the zip ties off, but he did stand up. And then the cop comes over and like slaps you and that was the moment whenever you know the time resets and then I was back at the door and then you know the loop started playing and I was trying to figure out okay, so is there an is there like an exit part of the menu? Because like in the menu, there's just like continue in settings.
Yeah, I hope it's saved. I guess we'll find out, huh?
Yeah, I did eventually find like there's you know you can start over like reset progress. So I think it
Okay.
basically just auto saves every
Okay. Okay.
however often. And
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I just exited out after you know just you know a few moments, which I didn't time myself. It didn't feel like 12 minutes.
It definitely did not feel like 12 minutes. I like maybe 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
And then the only other thing that I remember doing is whenever like before dessert and the wife is sitting on the couch, she's reading a book, and I clicked on the book and
Mm.
and it did have an option where you can ask about the book, and she's like, "Oh, it's nothing you'd be interested in," and he's like, "Try me," and it's like, "It's a book on Zen and meditation." He's like, "I'm not interested in that."
Okay. Okay. Wonder if that would be important later.
I have no idea.
Hmm.
But I mean, so like, what's your first impression of you know, did this hook you yet, or
I mean, only in a way of like I want to figure out what's going on in terms of
hmm,
like like how the game is going to play out, like how this is supposed to be happening, I guess. Like why the time loop is happening, if that's even explained. Um why it's called 12 minutes, but it felt way less than that. Um what like and then what other things are we both gonna find that's different? Because we already got a few
hmm,
things that are different. I never got the murder thing,
hmm,
interestingly enough. Like that he never said anything about it. He kind of just zip tied her, pushed her to the ground, said stay there, and then that's when I interfered, and then he zip tied me, and then suddenly I was standing back up again. So I didn't get anything about that. So I'm curious how all this is going to play out. But in terms of that, if I was playing this on my own, I would be like, okay, that was weird. Let me keep going just to see what the fuck is even happening because it's so bizarre. Um, but but doing this with you, like having to stop, it is a little
it's
like
like, oh, I want to find
I
out.
do want to know, but okay, I gotta stop.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be kind of the most bizarre thing because yeah, I'm like the same way. It's like I want to keep going, but and you know maybe as we do this, you know we'll see how the first few episodes go. Maybe we'll do like you know two or three
Okay.
loops at a time per episode. But you know for the first you know 2 or 3 weeks we'll stick to just one loop,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's
and
fine.
then we'll kind of update from that. But yeah, I know I'm curious about what's going on. You know, I think it's a little spoon feeding me, but you know, I think maybe that's also an aspect of, you know, just playing just the first loop and then
Hmm.
stopping, and maybe it wouldn't feel so bad as if I, you know, did 3 or 4 loops the first time
Yeah, yeah,
and then took a break. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm curious to see how this keeps going, and you know how many times before one of us gets to an end. Because I'm, you know, I haven't done I've done like just the bare minimum reading on this. You know, I'm trying to keep as fresh as possible. I
Yeah,
know that
same.
there's several different endings, but that's kind of the extent to
Hmm.
my knowledge about what's
Okay.
in the game.
Yeah, I didn't look anything up outside of I only just looked up how old it was because I was curious, and then when you asked me to do this, however many weeks ago that was, I looked up who was like doing the voice work, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. That was all I looked up.
Yeah, but I'm curious to see how this goes, and you know, it's gonna be you know a long week before you know we
Yeah,
get to the next loop.
exactly. Well, I got a lot to keep me busy, so I probably won't even think about it till next week.
Yeah, it's like yeah, Monday you get home from work. Oh yeah, I got to play another loop of 12
Yeah, do
minutes.
this really quickly. Yep, yep.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining me in this experiment slash podcast, I guess you could call it.
Mm, yeah.
Um, but why don't you talk about it's hard to say because I this is going to air way in the future, so to talk about like what you're doing. But
I could do a
why don't you?
general thing. I could do a
Yeah,
general.
why don't you plug one of your shows?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could, you know what? I'll just plug rabbitholepodcast.com as a whole. Because it's a podcast network. I have a bunch of different podcasts. Who knows what's going to be there by the time you are listening to this, but there should be something there at least. And it's just a network of it's sort of rebranded as like a nostalgia podcast network now because everything's about looking back at something. Like there's a 90s movie podcast, there's an 80s movies podcast, podcast about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, X-Files, MST3K. It's a whole lot of just like looking back at stuff, and all of them are great. All of them are like my children, so I cannot pick a favorite. Um, but rabbitholepodcast.com is where you can go and check that out.
Yeah, and I also have, at least one podcast there. I've got my anthological podcast, which is going, and it's also looking back at old stuff. It's old
Yes, yes,
anthology movies, going one segment at a time with a different host each Wednesday.
yes.
Then so here until next time, I'm in Buffy they say 5 by 5. Here I guess it's 12 by 12.
1, 2, 3. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.